Yeah, welcome here everyone today. Koba is exploring two high-quality uranium projects in world-class districts. One being in South Australia, that's our flagship Uramba project, but also the RIU project in Canada. Most of my presentation today will be about Uramba, so I'll speak a little bit about RIU now. It's located 50 kilometres west of Paladin Energy's Michelin deposit in eastern Canada. That's a £127.7 million deposit. We conducted our inaugural field program this year, returning some assay samples of 7.48%. That's 74,800 ppm. We now have 10 prospects there that have returned rock chips over 1% uranium. So it's an extremely underexplored, high-grade, hard rock uranium project with some amazing potential to discover some globally significant deposits. That being said, I'd much rather talk about Uramba. It's located in South Australia, where there's 3 producing operating mines. We've got a market cap of about 10.8 at the moment, about $2.8 million cash at bank. So, the Uramba is located in this world-class district called the Lake Frome district. It's got 2 producing ISR operations currently, that being the Beverley uranium operation. There's over 165 million pounds at Beverley at a grade of almost 3,000 ppm. It's been continuously producing uranium for over 20 years, and it's produced 40 million pounds of uranium over that time. Their success has been limited to continued exploration. The Beverley deposit started as a 55 million pound deposit, 1800 ppm, and through continued exploration they managed to find 4 mile east, 4 mile northeast, and all of these deposits are circa 30 million pounds at 3,000 ppm. Some amazing success story. It's a private company, so you don't hear a lot about it, but they're doing extremely well. Then there's Boss Energy, a bit better known, ASX company, market cap around about $1.3 billion today. They poured their first barrel of yellowcake in April 2024, so recently started producing. They've got about 70 million pounds at 660 ppm. You can see where they're located, the Jason deposit, the Honeymoon deposit, really high quality deposits that are in the pipeline for their future production needs. Now, what do we have? We have the strike extents of what Boss Energy have. We have 5,000 square kilometre Uramba uranium project, where we have over 250 kilometres of paleo channels to explore. The Boss deposits are hosted in the same paleo channels, and we've got over 250 kilometres. Our tenement package is 120 kilometres from the south to the north, with the continuation of these paleo channels. Our initial focus has been the Oban deposit. There's a 4.6 million pound resource at Oban. That's a really good starter for us. That's where we focused a lot of our drilling this year. And as we stepped out from that, we discovered the Berber and Shivers prospects, and we've also commenced drilling at the Mount John prospect, which I'll go into as we go forward. So we initially started drilling at the Oban deposit, where this resource is, and we had a lot of success. We pretty much proved that mineralisation exists. We're able to extend it and step it out a little bit. Significant results, 3.9 metres at 805 ppm, lots of hits, around about 1.5 metres at 1,000 ppm. So some really good, confirmation and extensional drilling at Oban. The key with Oban is there's some really high grade zones. You can see on this slide here, a couple of metres at 2,230 ppm, a couple of metres at 1,100 ppm, and these hang really well together at Oban. The key is to Oban is finding more of these high-grade pods and actually growing the resource that way, and further step-out drilling to locate new discoveries. And that's where we had some substantial success this year. So as soon as we started stepping out away from Oban, we had some instant success. We drilled about 1.5 kilometres south of Oban deposit at what we call Berber, and here we had some outstanding hits, and which I'll talk about shortly. Then we drilled 700 metres to the east of Oban and further high-grade hits, 1,000 ppm at both of these deposits. And so what we've proven is that as you step out, there's opportunities to discover more uranium. So at the Berber prospect, it's 1.5 kilometres south of Oban, and it's basically very sparsely drilled. That whole 1.5 kilometre section only has 10 or 15 holes. It's a very large area. We've got exploration targets all through that area. But the success we had was at Berber. It was originally discovered in the 1990s, but what we did was step out 350 metres further to the east of Berber, and that's where we had some really successful hits. The best hit was 1.6 metres at 1,000 ppm, which included 1 metre at 1,400 ppm. So these are sub-economic ore grades or economic ore grades if you can pull them all together. And this hole was actually the last hole we drilled at Berber. It's totally open to the east. We didn't at the time have any approvals further east of Berber, and there's actually not a single drill hole within kilometres to the east of Berber. So it's a high priority target for us. We're in the process of gaining additional approvals there to drill that target and to further fill in the 350 metres between Berber and the older Berber prospect area. And Shivers is quite a similar story. We stepped out 700 metres. And an area had never been drilled. There's absolutely no drilling to the east of this, almost to the border, 20 kilometres to the South Australian border, and there's basically no drilling out there. And on the easternmost hole we drilled, a metre at 629 ppm and half a metre at 1,000 ppm. So some really good high-grade mineralisation identified as you step out. And what it's shown me as an exploration geologist is there's opportunities to find new high-grade mineralisation with step-out exploratory drilling at the Uramba Uranium Project. And with 5,000 square kilometres and 250 kilometres of interpreted paleochannels to explore, it's actually an exploration geologist's dream. Now, I'm an exploration geologist. I've worked in uranium for 10 years and this is such an exciting prospect, and I'm really looking forward to getting in there and getting after it even harder. One of our other projects we started drilling this year is the Mount John prospect. It's about 50 kilometres south of the Oban area, but it's on the border of our tenement immediately north of where Boss Energy is. The Uramba Paleo Channel hosts over 50 million pounds of uranium to the south, being at Honeymoon and Jason. Previous operators have identified over 8 priority targets, and during our exploration program, immediately leading up to Christmas, we drilled just one of these exploration targets. We've still got seven more to follow up on, and we look forward to doing that in the future. And we're actually been drilling in February to commence testing some of these. So the Jason deposit sits 10.7 million pounds. It's just 4 kilometres to the south of our tenement, and there's even hits 850 metres south of our tenement boundary, including 1.3 metres at 720, half a metre at 600. So some really, good solid mineralisation within 850 metres of our property. So this is the drilling program we did just before Christmas. The one target we targeted was the MJ3B target. And here we extended the mineralisation over 600 metres. Some significant results, including a metre at 400 ppm. So, proof of concept, there's this mineralisation everywhere at Mount John. It's so close to existing mineralisation at Oban. We're going to be following this up aggressively in 2025. So again, the significant potential is the 5,000 square kilometres and the 250 kilometres of paleo channels. We've got numerous projects to follow up outside the ones I've talked about today. Our tenements continue for 60 kilometres to the north of Oban, where there's significant, uranium occurrences there as well. Historical drilling, 2 metres at 530 never really followed up. 1 metre at 225 never followed up. Yakapo, 1.5 metres at 184 ppm. There's just so many little targets that were discovered in the 70s that have never been followed up that we're looking to follow up as we go forward. So as I mentioned earlier, the RIU Uranium Project, so this is just a map showing where those locations are. As I said, 10 prospects that have averaged return samples over 1% uranium. It's a totally different ball game to Uramba, but going forward, we're going to be focusing more on Uramba. This year we drilled about 120 holes, 12,000 metres at Uramba, and we've got an aggressive work program to continue to explore the Uramba project as our flagship project. And we see we've got there's many opportunities to have success at Uramba. If we can find a small deposit, then there's opportunities to treat that. There's an obvious path to production with Boss Energy to the south. And if we can find a larger project, 30 million pounds, 50 million pounds, then we can also go standalone. But having that synergy with Boss being so close gives us optionality on how we progress the Uramba project, which will be our focus again in 2025. Thank you.